I don't know where Liverpool are going to finish at the end of the season, but they might look back on this game when they were 3-2 down with 3 minutes to go and still got all 3 points as one where their mentality was really tested and they came through.
Well, absolutely. And, if you look at Liverpool, it should have never gotten that far, really, when you think about it. The way they started, the way, they took the lead twice. And really, Fulham were scoring goals against the run of play. It felt that way. I don't want to take anything away from Fulham because, they almost pulled it off, at least a point, maybe even 3. So, but, that spirit exists, doesn't it? This is a Liverpool side who I still feel they're kind of looking for their old or new identity, whatever it is. And at times, it's almost as if Jurgen Klopp is trying to recover each player by themselves to get to that level. But look where they are in the table. They're not a complete team, which we saw today throughout. But the spirit of Anfield, the spirit of the players, the want to win the game at all costs continues to be there. And there are many teams in the league that aren't like that.
Mentality monsters, if you like. But let's look a little bit more in depth into this game, because 2 wonderful goals for Liverpool after a stoppage in play at the start of the game because of a head injury to Bernd Leno that you wondered if it would just take the sting out of the game. But it had a good tempo and it was pretty open. But Fulham did more with less of the ball than Liverpool did with more of the ball. So there's no point in saying, is that a concern for Jurgen Klopp? They got the job done, but they made it harder for themselves than they should have done, didn't they?
Yeah, they have, because there's still underneath all of it, there's still many issues. And we've seen, for example, today the importance of Mo Salah, who, by the way, didn't score, but had his hands, or legs, I should say, in just about everything, right? And the concerning issues, of course, are in a way what happens when Mo Salah leaves in January for African Cup of Nations, right? You look at Darwin Nunes, who Mo Salah set up twice. And Darwin Nunes, it depends how you look at him. In one game, you say to yourself, well, he's going to come good, but yet he's lacking that composure. He's lacking that sophistication. Because if, those 2 chances are being put away, we're probably not even talking about this as if it was this close. And it was a great escape to a degree, because if Liverpool are to challenge Manchester City, and by the way, Arsenal, because we need to start taking them seriously, they can have hiccups like that. So you look at this and you look at all the possession, look at all the chances, and you say to yourself, well, Mo Salah's not there. Who's going to stand up? Who's going to take the responsibility on their shoulders? Because by committee, at times it looks good, Mark, right? But you're not always going to be able to do it by committee. You need that leader, and that leader is going to leave in January. And this may be a big issue depending on how long Egypt stays there.
Janusz, I'm glad you mentioned Darwin Nunes, because he's a player that's got so much ability. He's just as likely to put one in from 30 yards as he is to miss one from 3 yards. And is it that inconsistency that could be a problem for Liverpool? Because with Mane and Salah, and I know Sadio Mane's been gone for a couple of years, you knew what you were getting. If one didn't score, the other one did. Or if they both had a bad game, Firmino would usually get in there. Is the problem here that, yes, Salah is setting up Darwin Nunes a lot of times, you just don't know what you're going to get when he's inside that 18-yard box?
Yes, I still think that in some way he's not a complete striker. He can be, but he's not sophisticated, as I've mentioned. He's in some ways inadequate in terms of his pure technique. He's strong, his work ethic is great, and he's going to get some goals. But I just don't think that when it's all said and done, we're going to be talking about a player that's going to give you consistently 25, 30 goals. Well, that's asking a lot, I suppose. But, when you look at Salah, when you look at Harry Kane, when you look at Erling Haaland, he's not that. He doesn't absolutely have to be, because as we know, Luis Diaz is going to get his share. He's had his share of troubles off the pitch as well. And I think, so he's going to be fine. But yes, all in all, I don't think this Liverpool team can depend on Darwin Nunes. He's going to be fine. He's going to do a lot for Liverpool. But I just think that he's just short on that great composure that we talk about when we talk about great strikers.
Cody Gakpo was among the goals in midweek, playing in that kind of number 9, that false 9 position. Jurgen Klopp at his press conference on Friday pretty much said, look, if I want a number 9, I'm going to pick Darwin over Cody Gakpo. But is it something that they might look at when Mohamed Salah goes? back to Africa in January to try and find some semblance of, can you play Darwin? Can you play Cody Gakpo? If Diogo Jota's back, Luis Diaz as well, Szoboszlai, there's a lot going on there. What would be the best formation, do you think, if and when Mohamed Salah is unavailable?
Well, it's easy for Jurgen Klopp in many ways because Cody Gakpo has said that he's willing to play just about anywhere. So that's good. And it's good to know that he's capable of playing in those positions and playing well. That's key. But I think we all know that Jurgen Klopp is not convinced about Darwin Nunes. We saw that early in the season. And right now he's given him all the chances. And most of the time he's not taking advantage of them. At least I think that. So, I mean, if we see Cody Gakpo leading the line or somebody else for that matter, I don't think any of us should be surprised. That midfield is still, not maybe at a level that it needs to be. We've seen the struggles of Szoboszlai. And, great goals today. Absolutely. I mean, if you look at McAllister by himself, the back line, Matip is injured again, which is not a surprise. I suppose we'll see how long it takes. So there's still a lot of issues at Liverpool. I think they know themselves that they're lucky to be where they are, which is a massive positive, because if they do put it together, then I think you can talk, or maybe then we can talk about a proper challenge to Manchester City if you think that they're the front runners.
Trent AlexanderArnolds' free kick has gone down as an own goal with the Premier League. However, you're not taking away the one that he scored late on. Do you like him in this new position that he seems to be playing, having done that at the end of last season?
Yeah, of course I do. I mean, with him, you take the good with the bad, and you see the first goal. It's absolutely outstanding, something that we know he's very much capable of from a free kick. That second one, what can you say? I mean, timing is everything, and it's he's the hero. But I still in the back of my mind think of him that you take the good with the bad, right? Because the first goal, I think there was Harry Wilson on that near post. I mean, he's got to close that. He's got to be sliding. He's got to be desperate to make sure that it doesn't go on the near post there, because he was the closest one. He's got to react, and I think we're going to see that. And it's, I don't want to say that he's lucky, but I think we do give him benefit of the doubt, because these days, yes, defending is the most important thing if you have to be a defender. And let's face it, he is that without the ball. So I don't think we're going to take the responsibility away from him just because he gives you so much going forward. But what he does give you going forward, I still think outweighs some of his deficiencies defensively. Because how many truly fullbacks, because that's what he is, that do so much?
Yeah, a lot. He does so much. However, defensively against better sides, that might be something that Jurgen Klopp has to think about. Conceding 3 goals to Fulham. Just before we got on to the Chelsea-Brighton game, Fulham aren't going to get many headlines from this. They would have done if they'd held on at 3-2 up. What do you make of them right now under Marco Silva?
Fulham, yeah. I mean, I think they're. I think they're the sort of team that showed us last year that when all concentration is in, and they always feel that need or want to stay in the Premier League. I don't think anybody forgets that they've been a yo-yo team so far. And last season, I think pretty similar, right? Great start. And once they sort of knew that they're staying, then, I don't want to say they were in the flip-flops, but it seemed that way towards the end of the season. So is there a next level to Fulham? I would like to see that this season, for example, with this start, which isn't bad, of course. I don't think they're looking over their shoulder just yet, although it's pretty close. I think I'm looking at them to solidify themselves. I think, somewhere mid-table, somewhere where maybe we start talking about Fulham, maybe pushing on, maybe asking questions of Conference League.